Hello and welcome back everyone, I am the Otaku, and today I'm going to teach you how to not suck at Lando Calrissian. Before we get started, I have a little bit of a promotion for you guys. The Star Wars Amino app, which I'm sure many of you would be interested in, is a free community app available on iOS and Android. To get the app, search for Star Wars Amino on your app store or simply use the links I provided in the description below. The app contains a news feed full of content to do with the Star Wars games, movies, lore, comics, and pretty much anything you can think of. Some recent articles that I found interesting were this one about the Twi'lek race, there was a review on Battlefront blasters, and also a Death Star DLC speculation, so all very interesting stuff. There was even community challenges and contests for you to enter and have fun with if that's your kind of thing. Then the public chat section is awesome for discussing everything and anything Star Wars, with many of them being about Star Wars Battlefront itself, and perfect if you want to connect with other players and meet online. You will also find polls, tutorials, videos, GIFs, and other great content all throughout the app. However, the best part is you can follow people or have them follow you, which makes it perfect for making friends and interacting with your favorite YouTubers. So go get the app, check out some of the cool people you can follow, and then head on over to the public chat section where you'll find some awesome discussions on Battlefront and other Star Wars related things. I'll see you guys on Star Wars Amino. Lando Calrissian was a smuggler, gambler, and card player who became Baron Administrator of Cloud City and later a general in the Rebel Alliance. He is one of the two new heroes made available with the Bespin DLC, and his greatest talent comes from knowing the odds and using tricks against his enemies. Lando comes equipped with a modified version of the X8 Night Sniper pistol, his own unique trait, and 3 special abilities. The X8 Night Sniper pistol is a blaster pistol with a computerized scope giving it special thermal vision that could be used to see at night. Lando's version of the X8 is also a step up from the regular variant, having increased damage especially at a distance and being able to fire many more shots before overheating. Let's go through the stats so you can get an idea of what it can do. Lando starts off doing 63 damage per shot up to 40 meters and then drops down to 35 damage at 70 meters. This means you can expect a 2-shot kill on regular infantry up to around 50 meters and then a 3-shot kill after that. It has a rate of fire of 210 RPM and will shoot up to 13 rounds before overheating, allowing you to get around 6.5 consecutive infantry kills or put out quite an amount of damage before overheating. Then finally, it has a recoil pattern of 0.4 vertical and 0.2 horizontal with a base spread of 0.25 that increases at 0.35 per shot. Unfortunately, this recoil is actually quite crazy and has a harsh amount of spread to go with it, making Lando's X8 Night Sniper's biggest weakness its accuracy. However, despite the X8 generally being a weak blaster and Lando's variant still suffering from accuracy problems, its benefit to Lando is actually just being able to easily spot enemies in any environment and see through smoke with that night vision. This is going to help him acquire targets, not be caught off guard, and stay alive for much longer than he normally could. Lando's trait is called Fortune Trigger and grants him an increasingly high chance of landing critical hits with his blaster shots, similar to if you were to headshot a target. The more enemies that you kill or the more damage you do to heroes, the more it will upgrade, going from 5 to 10, then 20 and 50%. However, immediately after charging up the trait, it will start going back down, so continuously engaging in combat, preferably from a distance, is very beneficial. Just keep in mind that his trait is charged regardless of how you kill or damage enemies, so using his abilities will simultaneously charge his trait along the way, and it isn't something that you absolutely have to go to your way to do before engaging with a villain one-on-one, but it certainly does help and it is a viable strategy. Lando has 3 unique abilities: Shocking Trap, System Disruption, and Power Blast. Shocking Trap throws a decoy on the ground to confuse the enemy and shock anyone close by. It will appear as a power-up, a hero pickup, or a hero health pickup, and then spring when the enemy gets close to it. The secondary effect is that as long as Lando has an active trap, he will not appear on the enemy's radar. Instead, the trap will show up as an enemy and lure Imperials towards it. For infantry, this will trigger an effect similar to using the shock grenade, which forces players into a button mashing event to escape. Failure to do so will result in instant death. For villains, however, this isn't the case, but it will at least still stun them and deal some damage. System Disruption will disrupt all nearby enemies' weapons, star cards, setting them to overheat or cooldown, and then it also affects hero abilities. And then Power Blast, once it's activated, will give a critical modifier and homing effect on Lando's blaster fire for a limited period of time. You can hold down the fire button to charge up the blast, doing more damage the longer you charge it, or simply blast away at the enemy with a flurry of crits and stuns. Lando is a rogue, best suited for hit and run tactics or attacking enemies that are unaware or unable to attack back. You need to take full advantage of his X8's ability to easily spot enemies so you can strike first and avoid being caught off guard. The best strategy for Lando is to position yourself in a way that gives you a good line of sight over the entire battlefront. Use your X8 to quickly spot targets and pick them off from a distance, preferably while they are engaged with other players. Using Lando's Power Blast is extremely powerful because of its homing effect and the one-shot kills on infantry, as well as the massive damage and stuns that it will put out on villains when charged up. You should pretty much always be using this ability on cooldown to ensure the quickest and easiest kills possible. Remember that Lando has no way to heal and limited mobility, so it's important that you kill them before they can kill you. Your shocking trap should always be down with no exceptions and has a variety of purposes. The most basic use is to simply trap enemies for kills or stun heroes. However, your positioning of this trap is very important because it can lock down a location, alert you of enemies coming from that direction, and then of course because it acts as a distraction which also keeps you off the map, so it's very handy for luring enemies, being stealthy, and just playing like a rogue. Then last, System Disruption is pretty much your oh shit button, useful for when you're caught off guard, surrounded by enemies, or needing to save a teammate. Proper use of this ability during sticky situations is going to mean the difference between winning that team fight and coming out alive. When it comes to game modes, generally I find that Extraction is a total mess. You are forced into close quarters combat, and with so many enemies popping out of everywhere, it's really just a matter of time before you're going to go down. Simply put, Lando does not do well in this kind of environment, and you should avoid running around aimlessly in close quarters. Alternatively, Lando has no problem locking down an objective or the extraction room during Phase 2. This is because he has the advantage of setting up his traps, getting a good position, and using that X8 to see enemies as they come to you. So avoid trying to hunt down infantry and just instead focus on locking down locations, taking those objectives with the team, and surviving until Phase 2, where you can really do a lot of good. The larger game modes are a lot of fun and give you a little bit more freedom, as Lando's homing effect on his Power Blast combined with the one-shot capabilities makes it very easy to rack up huge kill counts from a safe distance. You can even take out the enemy villains with just a few full charge Power Blasts and prove a very valuable asset to the team. The only thing that you need to be cautious about is enemy vehicles or getting stuck in close quarter situations and surrounded by enemies. So do your best to avoid those AT-AT and AT-ST, as Lando doesn't have much to take care of them. And then when holding down objectives, make sure to set up those traps and be very situationally aware, as unlike Extraction, the teams are a lot more spread out and you can't always count on your team to have your back and catch those enemies before they catch you. In other words, keep one finger on that oh shit button at any given time. And then Heroes vs Villains is a little bit different, as you are in generally more close quarters combat environments, but there is so few enemies compared to other game modes like Extraction that it makes it much easier to properly position yourself, set up those traps, and then hit enemies when they least expect it. You can really play like a rogue in Heroes vs Villains. Lando is actually pretty powerful in 1v1 hero engagements as well, with his blaster damage able to keep up with the likes of Greedo or Han Solo, while also having lots of stuns, traps, and general utility for just toying with your enemies. So you shouldn't be scared to take on any villains, as Power Blast can pretty much stun lock them into oblivion. However, I do suspect in the future that there might be some changes to that soon, as it is extremely overpowered right now. But regardless of what game mode you're playing, just do your best to not chase down targets and find yourself surrounded by enemies. I can't stress this enough. Lando isn't designed to lead a charge, rush into an enemy team, and fight up close in their face. You really need to sit back, be patient, and use your cooldowns effectively. Pretty much anytime Power Blast is on cooldown, you should be hiding and waiting for it to come back. You can also use this chance to move yourself into the best positioning possible, so that when you do have Power Blast, you can make the most use of it. Essentially, it's all about catching people off guard, killing them before they kill you, and not allowing yourself to be vulnerable. Overall, Lando is an extremely powerful hero in the right hands. With good positioning, using your X8 to spot enemies, and taking advantage of power shot from a distance, you can wreak havoc on the enemy team. Then effectively using your traps, disruption, and being situational aware is going to keep you alive for much longer. And hopefully by watching this video and learning these strategies, you can go out there and be more than just a pretty face. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or even donate to support the channel. You can also check out the new Otaku gaming store, where you can get your very own custom designed otaku and gamer related t-shirts with new designs going up every few weeks. More awesome videos to come, but until then, as always, may the otaku be with you.